Now in previous lecture we have seen logical group of instructions, right? Before that we have seen arithmetic group of instructions, and we have seen data transfer group of instruction, right? Now all this we have discussed different instructions under your data transfer group, and next we have seen arithmetic group of instructions, and next we have seen logical group of instruction, right? Now coming to fourth category of instructions under instruction set of 8085, that is branch control group of instruction, right? Now coming to this branch control group of instruction, now this includes the instructions like jump, right? We have jump instruction in order to jump to a particular address that is specified within the instruction, and next we have return instruction, and next we have call instruction to transfer the program control to another sub program. For that we will use call instruction, and next in order to return from that call we will use return instruction, and next we have restart instruction. Now all these control group of instructions will come under your branch control group of instruction, right? Now let us see one by one, right? Now this includes the instructions like jump, call, return, restart, etc., right? Now whatever the instruction that we are going to see, now that will include like jump instruction, call instruction, and next we can observe return instruction, and next we can observe restart instruction, right? Now let us see one by one instruction under your branch control group of instruction. Now coming to first instruction, that is jump address. Now this is your first instruction under your branch control group of instruction. Now JMP indicates jump, right? Now address is specified within the instruction, right? JMP indicates jump and address is specified within the instruction. Now jump, this instruction is, if you see this instruction, this is specified with the address, right? Now this, it will jump to the instruction which is specified by the address. Whatever the address that is specified within the instruction, to that particular instruction we are transferring its control. We are jumping to that address, right? The name itself indicates jump address, right? Now jump to the instruction which is specified by the address, right? Now using this instruction, we are jumping to the instruction which is specified by the address, right? Now this loads the PC with the address, right? Now loads PC with the address which is given in the instruction, right? Whatever the address that is specified within the instruction, now that address is loaded to the PC, right? Now using this instruction jump address, you are jumping to the particular address, right? The name itself indicates we are jumping to a particular address. Using this instruction we are jumping to a particular address, right? Now coming to next instruction, now this is unconditional jump. This is unconditional jump because we don't have any condition here. That's why it is called unconditional jump, right? We don't have any condition to be satisfied in order to jump to a particular address that is specified within the instruction. Now that's why it is called unconditional jump, right? That's why it is called unconditional jump, right? Now next we have conditional jump, right? We have seen unconditional jump, right? Using this instruction we are jumping to a particular address. Now that address is loaded with the program counter. Now program counter is of how many bits? 16 bits, right? Now here we don't have any condition to be satisfied, right? If that condition satisfied, right, we don't have any condition to be satisfied in order to jump to a address that is specified within the instruction. Now that's why it is called unconditional jump, right? Next we will see conditional jump, right? And next instruction is your J condition, right, address, right? J condition address, right? Now here it is a conditional jump, right? If you see the instruction here, it is a conditional jump. Now you are jumping to a particular address that is specified within the instruction if the desired condition satisfied, right? The jump to a particular address that is specified within the instruction is possible only if this condition is satisfied, right? Only if that particular condition is satisfied, then only a jump to a particular address which is specified in the instruction is occurred, right? Without, if the condition is failed, right? If the condition is failed, now we can't jump to a particular address that is specified within the instruction, right? Now here we have 8 different types of conditional jump instruction, right? 8 different types of conditional jump instruction. Now let us see one by one. First one is JZ address. If you compare with this format, now J indicates jump, right? Now you are jumping to the particular address. ADDR is the address that is specified within the instruction. You are jumping to the particular address that is specified within the instruction if, right? If result is 0, right? If 0 flag is set to 0, right? Z indicates 0 flag, right? You are jumping to the particular address that is specified within the instruction. Now what is the condition here? Z indicates 0 flag. If 0 flag is 0, right? If 0 flag is 0, right? Now coming to next instruction, that is JNZ address, right? Now this is the address. You are jumping to the particular address that is specified within the instruction if result is not 0. If NZ indicates not 0. If result is not 0. Now what is meaning of result? Result indicates arithmetic and logical operation, right? Result indicates arithmetic and logical operation, whatever a microprocessor can do, right? Now coming to third instruction, we have JC address, right? JC address. You are jumping to the particular address that is specified within the instruction if C indicates what? Carry, right? If there is a carry, right? C indicates carry if there is a carry. If you can jump to the particular address that is specified within the instruction if there is a carry, right? Now coming to fourth instruction, we have JNC address, right? Fourth instruction we have JNC address, right? Now J indicates what? Jump, right? You are jumping to the particular address that is specified within the instruction if, what is the condition here? No carry. If there is no carry, right? Upon condition satisfaction only, that particular to that particular address jump can occur, right? If the condition fails, if the condition doesn't satisfy, you can't jump to the particular address that is specified within the instruction, right? Now coming to fifth instruction, we have that is JP address. JP address, right? Now you are jumping to the particular address that is specified within the instruction if the result is positive. We have sign flag. Under program status word, we have sign flag, right? Now that indicates whether the result is positive or negative, right? If the result is positive, that is you are jumping to a particular address that is specified within the instruction if the result is positive, right? Now coming to next instruction, we have JM address. JM address. You are jumping to the particular address which is specified within the instruction if the result is M indicates minus, right? If the result is negative, that is nothing but minus, right? Now coming to next instruction, we have JPE address, right? JPE address, right? Now you are jumping to the particular address that is specified within the instruction if there is even parity. Even parity indicates what? Even number of ones, right? If you observe even number of ones in the result of arithmetic and logical operation, then parity flag is set to 1, right? Now if you are jumping to the particular address that is specified within the instruction if there is even parity, right? If there is even parity in the result, right? Now coming to last instruction, last conditional jump instruction, that is JPO address, right? JPO address, right? Now you are jumping to the particular address that is specified within the instruction for odd parity, right? For odd parity, right? Only if this particular condition satisfies, if this particular condition satisfies, then only a jump to a particular address will occur, which is specified within the instruction. Otherwise you can't jump to the particular address which is specified within the instruction, right? Now we have seen conditional jump instruction under your 8085. Under conditional jump we have 8 different instructions again, and we have seen unconditional jump also, right? We have seen unconditional jump also. Now coming to third different category is your call instruction, right? Next instruction under your branch control group of instruction is your call instruction, which is specified with the address, right? Now this is unconditional call. Here also you have two different categories. One is conditional call and another one is unconditional call, right? One is conditional call. After unconditional call we will discuss about conditional call, right? Now coming to unconditional call, now using this call instruction, right? Using this call instruction we can transfer program control to the sub program, right? You are calling address, right? Now you are transferring program control to the sub program that is specified by this address, right? Now using this, it is used to transfer program control to the sub program, right? Now before transferring its control to the sub program, now what happens here is, now this instruction, now what PC will do? It will store the contents address of the next instruction that is to be executed, right? Program counter will store the address of the next instruction that is to be executed, right? Now PC will store the address that is to be executed, right? Now these PC contents are moved to stack, right? Now these PC contents are moved to the stack and loads with this particular address, right? Whatever the PC, now what PC will do, it will store the address of the next instruction that is to be executed, right? Now that address is moved to the stack. Now upon calling the instruction, now this particular address is moved to the PC, right? Now this is the actual operation that is done before transferring its control to the sub program, right? Now I will give an example. Now let us assume call 6000H, right? Now this is the instruction that is that has been occurred between while executing set of instruction. Now let us assume this instruction has occurred, that is call 6000H, right? Now PC is storing. Now let us assume PC is storing. Now what PC will do, it will store the address of the next instruction that is to be executed, right? Now the address of the next instruction that is to be executed is 3282H. Now let us assume PC has storage of address that is 3282H, right? Now this is moved to stack pointer. This is moved to stack pointer. Now how it will move? Now program counter is of 16-bit but stack pointer is of 8-bit only, right? For your 8085 microprocessor, program counter is of 16-bit and stack pointer is of 8-bit, right? Now how it will move means, the topmost stack pointer is loaded with higher order data, that is 32H. Now before that, now -1 to it will store lower order data. This is how the contents of program counter are moved to the stack. Now once the PC is freed, now this is moved to program counter, the address that is moved to the program counter. Now all this process is occurred before transferring its control to the sub program, right? Now this is about unconditional call, right? Now let me explain briefly again, right? Now coming to branch control group of instruction, the first instruction we will see about unconditional jump, right? Now we are jumping to the particular address without satisfaction of any condition. If you see this instruction, jump address, directly you are jumping to the particular address that is specified within the instruction. Here we don't specify any condition, we don't have any condition, right? Upon condition satisfaction only we have to transfer, we have to jump to a particular address. We don't have like that, right? Now that's why it is called unconditional jump. Here no need of satisfying a particular condition. If you see this instruction, directly we are jumping to the particular address that is specified within the instruction, right? Now jump address, we are jumping to the particular address that is specified within the instruction. Now here we don't have any condition to be satisfied. Now that's why it is called unconditional jump, right? Now this address is loaded with program counter. Why? Because that instruction is getting executed. Whatever the address that is specified after your jump, that is loaded under your PC, right? Now coming to conditional jump instruction, this is the syntax of conditional jump instruction. J condition address, right? J indicates jump. Now condition indicates condition that has to be satisfied. If that condition satisfied, then only you can jump to that particular address specified within the instruction. If that condition is not satisfied, you can't jump to a particular address that is specified within the instruction, right? Now here we have condition to be satisfied, that's why it is called conditional jump, right? We have jump, condition to be satisfied, after that address. We are jumping to the particular address that is specified within the instruction only if this condition is satisfied. If this condition is not satisfied, you can't jump to that particular address, right? Now here, since here we have condition to be satisfied, that's why it is called conditional jump, right? Now under conditional jump we have 8 different types of instruction, right? Under conditional jump we have 8 different instruction. First one is JZ address. Now J indicates jump, right? Now you are jumping to the particular address that is specified in the instruction if what is the condition here? Z, right? Now what is the condition here? Z. If the result is 0. What is mean by the result? Result is nothing but output of your ALU operation, right? You are jumping to the particular address that is specified within the instruction if result is 0. Now coming to next instruction, JNZ address, right? Now you are jumping to the particular address that is specified within the instruction if the result is not 0, right? If the result is not 0, right? Now you are jumping to the next instruction is JC address, right? Now you are jumping to the particular address which is specified within the instruction if there is carry. C indicates carry, right? Next we have JNC address. You are jumping to the particular address that is specified within the instruction if there is no carry, right? Where you will observe carry? While addition operation, right? While addition operation, right? Now next we have JP address, right? Now you are jumping to the particular address that is specified within the instruction if the result is positive, right? If the result is positive. Next we have JM address, right? Now you are jumping to the particular address that is specified within the instruction if the result is minus. M indicates minus, that indicates negative, right? Next we have JPE address, right? Now you are jumping to the particular address that is specified within the instruction, right? If the result contains even parity. EPE indicates even parity. Even parity, what is mean by even parity? Even number of ones, right? If you observe even number of ones in the result of ALU operation, right? If that condition is satisfied, then only a jump to that address will occur, right? Now coming to JPO address, right? You can jump to the particular address that is specified within the instruction for odd parity, right? For odd parity, right? Now we have seen conditional jump, and before that we have seen unconditional jump, right? Now coming to third branch control group of instruction, that is call address, right? Call address. Now this is unconditional call. After this we will see about conditional call, right? Unconditional call, right? After that, now we will see about unconditional call. Now after this we will see about conditional call, right? Now what happens here is, now using this instruction we can transfer program control to the sub program, right? Using this call instruction we can transfer, that is specified by this address, right? You can transfer program control to a sub program which is specified by this address, right? Now before transferring program control to the sub program, now what happens here is, now let us assume this is the instruction that has occurred, call 6000 hex. Now 6000H is the address of the subprogram. Now you have to transfer program control to the subprogram, right? Now before transferring its control to the subprogram, now what happens here is, now PC will store address of the next instruction that is to be executed, right? Now this PC has to get free, right? Now the contents of PC are moved to the stack pointer in this format under SP-1 higher order address, under SP-2 lower order address, and the PC is loaded with address that is specified after the call instruction. That is the address of the subprogram, right? Now in order to transfer its control to the subprogram, now that address of the subprogram has to be loaded to your PC. All this process will occur before transferring the control to a subprogram, right? Now using the call instruction, we can transfer program control to a subprogram or a subroutine, right? That subprogram or a subroutine address is specified here, right? Now this is about third instruction. Now let us see next. Next we have conditional call, right? Fourth branch group of instruction. Next we have conditional call. Right? Now in conditional call, the subroutine is called, that means you can transfer the program control to a subprogram only if condition is satisfied, right? Under call here we don't have any condition to be satisfied. Directly we are transferring the program control to the subprogram that is specified by this address, right? Now here a condition is to be satisfied. Under conditional call, you can transfer program control to a subprogram only if condition is satisfied, right? Only if condition is satisfied, right? Now let us see one by one. Here also you have 8 different types of conditional call instruction. Now the format is C condition address. Same thing, instead of jump you will have call, right? Instead of jump you will have call. Now this is the format of conditional call. Now here also you have 8 different types of conditional call instruction. Now let us see one by one. Call, carry, address. Now first instruction is call, carry, address. Call if carry, right? Now you can call this particular subprogram, that means you can transfer program control to the subprogram that is specified by this address only if carry, only if there is a carry, right? Next, coming to next instruction, CNC address, right? Now you can call a subprogram, you can transfer program control to a subprogram that is specified by this address if there is no carry. What is condition here? No carry. If there is no carry, right? Now coming to third instruction, we have CZ address, right? CZ address, right? Now you can transfer a program, you can call a subroutine, call this address, right? You can call this address, that is subroutine, nothing but transferring a program control to a subroutine only if there is 0, right? Only if 0, that means the result is 0, result of ALU operations is 0. Now coming to fourth instruction, we have CNZ address, right? Now you can call a subprogram, right? You can call a subprogram if the result is not 0. You can transfer a program control to you can transfer program control to a subroutine only if there is no 0. That means result is not 0, right? Now coming to fifth conditional call instruction, we have, that is CP address, right? CP address. You can call subprogram, right? You can call subprogram if the result is positive. P indicates positive, right? And next we have CM address, right? Now you can call the subprogram only if the result is negative, right? Only if the result is negative, right? Now coming to next instruction, we have CPO address, right? Next we have CPO address, right? Now you can call a sub program that is specified by this address only if there is odd parity, right? Only if there is odd parity. And next we have CPE address, right? CPE address, right? Now you can call a sub program or the sub routine only if there is even parity, only if there is even parity, right? Now this is about conditional call instruction. Now if condition is satisfied, what happens? If condition is not satisfied, what happens? Now if condition is satisfied, now what happens? SP minus 1 is loaded with higher order address of PC, right? Now same thing what we have seen under unconditional call instruction, SP minus 2 is loaded with lower order PC address. Now PC is loaded with the particular address that is specified within the instruction, right? Now if condition is not satisfied, what happens means PC is incremented by 3 times. If condition is not satisfied, PC is incremented by 3 steps. Now after this instruction, whatever instruction we have, that will get executed, right? Now this is about conditional call instruction, right? This is about conditional call instruction, right? Now let me explain again briefly, right? Now we have seen unconditional call. Directly we can call a sub program, nothing but transferring a program control to the sub program, right? Directly we can call a sub program. Now that sub program address is specified within the instruction. We have call address, right? Directly you can call a subroutine by that particular address, right? Now coming to conditional call, the syntax is C condition address. Syntax is C condition address, right? Now using this conditional call, we can call a sub program only if condition is satisfied, right? Under unconditional call, we don't have any condition to get satisfied, but here we have condition to get satisfied, and you can call a sub program only if that particular condition is satisfied. Otherwise you can't call a sub program, right? Now under this we have 8 different types of instruction. Now let us see one by one. First we have CC address, right? Now we are calling a sub program that is specified with the address in the instruction, right? If there is carry, right? You can call a sub program that is specified within the instruction by this particular address only if there is carry, right? Next we have CNC address. You can call a sub program which is specified by this address if there is no carry, right? If there is no carry. Next we have CZ address. Now you can call a sub program only if the result is 0, right? Now CNZ address, you can call a sub program that is specified by this address only if result is not 0, right? Only if result is not 0. Next we have CP address, right? Now you can call a sub program, right, only if the result is positive. P indicates positive, right? Next we have CM address. Now you can call a sub program only if result is minus, right? And next we have CPO address. You can call a sub program if odd parity. Next we have CPE address. You can call a sub program if even parity, right? Now these are your conditional call instruction. Now if condition satisfies, whatever under unconditional call scenario is there, the same scenario is followed here. That is, first you have to, all this will occur before transferring a program control to the subroutine, right? Now the PC has to get free in order to load that particular program counter with the address of the subroutine, right? Now higher order is loaded with stack pointer and lower order is loaded with SP minus 2, because program counter is of 16-bit register and stack pointer is of 8-bit register, right? Once we are freeing the program counter register, now that PC is loaded with the address of subroutine, right? And this occur if the condition is satisfied. If the condition is not satisfied, PC is incremented by 3. Now that means you are going to the another instruction after this particular call instruction that is specified in the set of instruction, right? Now this is about conditional call, right? Now coming to fifth instruction. Now coming to next instruction, we have RET. Next instruction is RET. Now this indicates return. Next instruction is RET. Now this indicates return, and this is unconditional. That means without any condition. Unconditional return, right? RET indicates return, right? Unconditional return. We are discussing about unconditional return. After this you will have conditional return, right? Now RET, using this RET instruction, you can return from sub program to the main program, right? Just reverse of your call program, call instruction, right? Using call, we are transferring a program control to the sub program. Now using RET instruction, we are returning from sub program to the main program, right? Now once we are transferring to the sub program control to the sub program, now once that sub program has executed, you have to return to main program, right? Now in order to return from sub program to main program, we have to use this instruction RET. RET indicates return, right? Now return is used to return from, the name itself indicates return, right? Now this instruction is used to return from sub program to main program. Just reverse of call instruction. Call, you are transferring from main program to sub program. Now return, in this instruction is used to return from sub program to main program, right? Now that is about unconditional return. And next we have conditional return, right? Next we have conditional return. Now the syntax is or condition. Now the syntax is or condition. Now this is conditional return, right? Now conditional return, that means you can return from sub program to the main program only if the given condition is satisfied, right? Unconditional return, under unconditional return, you no need to satisfy a particular what we say, there is no need to satisfy a particular condition. We don't have any condition to get satisfied under your unconditional return, right? RET indicates directly you can transfer from sub program to a main program. Now R condition indicates you are transferring from sub program to a main program only if a particular given condition is satisfied, right? Now the syntax is R condition. Now here also we have 8 different instructions, right? Here also we have 8 different instructions. Now let us see one by one, right? Here also we have 8 different instructions. Now let us see one by one. The first instruction is RC, right? Return if there is carry, right? R indicates return, C indicates carry, right? You are returning from sub program to a main program if there is carry, right? RC indicates returning from sub program to a main program if there is carry. Now what is RNC? Returning from sub program to a main program if there is no carry, right? Returning from sub program to a main program if there is no carry, that is RNC, right? Next we have RP, right? Returning from sub program to a main program if the result is positive, right? If the result is positive, right? And next we have RM, returning from sub program to a main program if the result is minus. What is M? Minus, right? Next we have RZ, right? Returning from sub program to a main program if the result is 0, right? R indicates return, Z indicates 0, right? And next we have RNZ, returning from sub program to a main program if the result is not 0, right? That is about RNZ. And next we have RPO, right? Returning from sub program to a main program if there is odd parity. Now for even parity, the instruction is RPE, returning from sub to a main program if there is even parity, right? Now this is about return instruction, unconditional return and conditional return. Return instruction is used to return from sub program to a main program, right? Now coming to last instruction, right? Coming to last instruction, that is under your branch control instruction, that is restart, that is restart n, right? Next instruction is RST, that is restart n, right? Now what is mean by n here? N has a value ranging from 0 to 7. N value is ranging from 0 to 7. That means for this instruction you have 8 instruction. N is varying from 0, 1, 2, 3 so on up to 7, right? Now that means you have 8 different instruction for your restart. RST0, RST1, RST2, RST3, RST4, RST5, RST6, RST7, right? Now these are your group of restart instruction, right? Now restart RSTN, you have to remember this formula. Now restart n, which is equals to call n into 8. Restart n, this is equals to call n into 8, right? Now it has a fixed address call instruction, right? It has a fixed address call instruction, restart n, right? Now for RST0, what is the fixed address call instruction? Call n is 0, 0 into 8, 0, right? Call 0, 0, 0, 0, H, right? Call 0, 0, 0, 0, H. And for RST1, 1 into 8, what is 1 into 8? 8, 0, 0, 0, 8, H, right? Now this is the address, call address, right? For RST0, you are calling, that means you are transferring a program control to the subprogram whose address is all zeros H. For RST1, you are transferring a program control to a subprogram whose address is 0008H, right? Now this varies so on up to, now what is RSTN? 7 8s are 56, right? Now 56 is your decimal. Under hexadecimal you will represent it as call 0038H. Now this varies 1 2 3 so on up to 7, right? Now this is about your RST instruction, right? RST instruction. Now let me briefly explain RET. What is RET? Return, right? You are returning from subprogram to a main program. Now this is unconditional return because we don't have any condition to get satisfied here, right? Now coming to R condition. What is R condition? Your R indicates return, right? Now this is a conditional return. You are returning from subprogram to a main program only if given condition is satisfied, right? Only if given condition is satisfied, right? Now under this you have 8 different instruction. First one is RC, right? You are returning from subprogram to a main program if there is carry. C indicates carry. Next we have RNC. You are returning from subprogram to a main program if there is no carry. Now RP, you are returning from subprogram to a main program if the result is positive. And next we have RM. You are returning from subprogram to a main program if the result is minus, right? If the result is minus, right? And next we have RZ, right? You are returning from subprogram to a main program if the result is 0, right? Next we have RNZ, subprogram to a main program, return from subprogram to a main program if the result is not 0. Now RPO, returning from subprogram to the main program if there is odd parity. Now RPE, returning from subprogram to the main program if the result is, if there is even parity, right? Now that is about conditional return and unconditional return. Now coming to last instruction, restart n, right? Restart n. Now n varies from 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, right? N varies from 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, right? Now here we have 8 restart instruction with variable n, right? RST 0 is your restart 0, restart 1, restart 2, restart 3, restart 4, restart 5, restart 6, restart 7, because n is varying from 0, 1, 2, 3, so on up to 7, right? Now for RSTN, right? Now this is given by call n into 8. RSTN, that is given by call n into 8, right? Call n into 8, right? Now it is a fixed address call instruction. R restart n is a fixed address call instruction. I will write again here, right? Now what is RST restart n? N is varying from 0, 1, 2, 3, so on up to 7, right? Now restart n is a fixed call address instruction. Now for RST 0, now what is the address? Call all zeros H, because 0 into 8 is 0. Now for RST 1, 1 into 8 is 8, right? Now hexadecimal, call, sorry, it is 0. Now call 008H, right? Just you multiply n with 8. For RST 0, 0 into 8 is 0, that is 00H. Because it is a 16-bit address lines, under 8085 we have 16-bit address line, that's why I am representing in 4-bit form, right? Now 4-bit hexadecimal form, which is nothing but 16-bit binary form, right? Now RST1, 1 into 8, 8H, right? Next we have RST2, right? Now for RST2, 2 8s 16, right? 2 8s 16. Now 16 I can represent it as, now here you will get 0010H, right? 0010H, right? And next we have RST2, right? Now 8 2's 24, 24 in hexadecimal format, 24 in hexadecimal format, that is 0018H, right? 0018H. See, 1010 is A is represented, 10 under hexadecimal 1011B is represented, 1100 it is C, 1101 it is D, 1110 it is E, all ones it is F, right? Now after F till here it is 15, right? Now 16 is represented by 00, that means 10H, 16 under binary, sorry, decimal, that is represented by 10 under hexadecimal, right? Now 24 is represented by 18 under hexadecimal, and next we have RST3, right? Now RST, this is 3, and next we have RST4, 8 4's 32, right? Now 32 is represented by 20, 32 is represented by 20 under hexadecimal, right? Next we have RST5, 8 5's 40. Now 40 is represented by 28H in hexadecimal, right? Now you should get familiar with the representation of hexadecimal. If you have doubt, you can ask me, don't worry, right? Next we have RST6. Now that is represented by 30H in hexadecimal, and next we have RST7. Now that is represented by 38H in hexadecimal, right? Now RST is nothing but restart, right? RST is nothing but restart. N is varying from 0, 1 to 7. That's why we have 8 restart instruction with variable n. N is 0, we have restart 0, restart 1, restart 2, restart 3, restart 4, restart 5, restart 6, restart 7, right? Now this is a fixed address call instruction. Now that is given by call n into 8, right? This is a fixed address call instruction that is given by RST n equals to call n into 8, right? Now when it is 0, you are transferring a program control to a sub program whose address is all 0, right? When it is 1, you are transferring program control to a sub program whose address is 0008H. When it is 2, you are transferring program control to a sub program whose address is 0010H. When it is 3, you are transferring program control to a sub program whose address is 0018H. When it is 4, you are transferring program control to a sub program whose address is 0020H. When it is 5, you are transferring to a sub program whose address is 28H, 0028H. When it is 6, when n is 6, you are transferring program control to a subprogram whose address is 30H. When n equals to 7, you are transferring program control to a subprogram whose address is 38H. That's why it is called fixed address call instruction. Restart n is a fixed address call instruction, right? Now this is about branch control group of instruction. In next lecture we will see about stack, IO and input output machine control group of instruction, right? Now with that topic there ends a total instruction set of 8085. After learning about all the instructions of 8085, we will see about addressing, right? Now till now we have seen 4 different sets of instruction. One is data transfer, arithmetic, logical. Now we have seen branch control group of instruction. Under this we have seen conditional return, unconditional return, conditional jump, unconditional jump, and conditional call, unconditional call, and next we have seen restart instruction. Restart instruction is nothing but a fixed address call instruction, right? Now we have seen branch control group of instruction. In next lecture we will see about IO and machine control group of instruction, right? With that topic we will end up with the instruction set of 8085. After that we will see the addressing modes of 8085, right? Thank you.